Ladies and gentlemen, if there's one skill that can transform your life, it's the ability to communicate effectively. You can have all the knowledge in the world, all the talent, but if you can't communicate it, you're not going anywhere. Today, I'm going to share with you 9 powerful tips that will help you improve your communication skills and take your relationships, your career, and your life to the next level. It all begins with listening. Too often, we're so focused on what we're going to say next, we forget to listen. The most effective communicators are the best listeners. When you listen, you gain understanding. When you understand, you can respond with wisdom. So listen more than you speak, and you'll begin to understand people at a level that most miss. The next tip, be clear and concise. If your message isn't clear, you'll confuse people, and confusion leads to misunderstanding. Take time to think about what you want to say before you say it. And then say it simply. A short, clear message is far more powerful than a long, rambling one. Words are important, but body language can be even more powerful. How you stand, how you move, how you make eye contact. These things all speak louder than words. If your body language isn't in harmony with your words, people won't believe what you're saying. So, practice good posture, make eye contact, and show confidence in your gestures. A good communicator knows how to ask the right questions. Questions open the door to deeper conversations. They show that you're engaged, that you care, and they give you the information you need to respond thoughtfully. So get in the habit of asking good questions. They'll make you a better communicator and a better person to be around. Being present means you're not distracted. You're not thinking about what you need to do later or what you've done in the past. You're focused on the conversation happening right now. When you're present, people feel valued and your communication becomes more meaningful. The best communicators know how to be completely engaged in the moment. The more words you know, the more powerful you become. Your vocabulary is your toolbox. The richer your vocabulary, the more effective your communication. Now, you don't have to be a walking dictionary, but a well-chosen word can convey your message with precision and impact. So read, learn, and expand your vocabulary every day. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. To communicate effectively, you must put yourself in the shoes of the person you're speaking to. What are their needs? What are their concerns? When you communicate with empathy, your message resonates deeper. People can tell when you genuinely care about their perspective. People can spot a fake from a mile away. If you want to communicate effectively, you must be authentic. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to impress. Be yourself. Authenticity builds trust, and trust is the foundation of any meaningful conversation. When you speak from the heart, people will listen. The most important tip, practice. You're not going to improve overnight. Communication is a skill that requires consistent effort. The more you practice, the better you get. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Each conversation is an opportunity to grow, to refine, and to become more effective. Now, let's talk about listening. Most people think communication is all about speaking, but that's only half of the equation. The real magic happens when you listen. Think about it. How many times have you been in a conversation where the other person isn't truly listening to you? They're already thinking about what they're going to say next, and you can tell they're not fully present. It doesn't feel good, does it? You don't feel heard, and nothing meaningful really comes out of that conversation. But when someone listens to you, really listens, something incredible happens. They understand you, they connect with you, and the more you listen, the more you learn. You see, when you're genuinely listening, you're picking up on things you might miss if you're just waiting for your turn to talk. You catch the nuances, the emotions behind the words, the little things that reveal so much about the person you're talking to. I want you to remember something. The greatest communicators are the best listeners. They don't just hear words, they hear meaning. They know that every conversation is an opportunity to learn, to understand, and to build a deeper connection. And they know that the more they listen, the more insight they gain into other people's needs, desires, and perspectives. You see, listening doesn't just make you a better communicator, it makes you a better human being. It shows that you value others, that you respect their thoughts and feelings. And here's the secret. People remember how you made them feel. When you listen to someone and show you're genuinely interested in what they have to say, you build trust. And trust is the foundation of all great relationships, both personally and professionally. So, if you want to improve your communication skills, start by becoming a better listener. Focus on what the other person is saying. Don't be in a hurry to respond. Take your time. Give them the space to express themselves fully. And then when you do speak, speak with purpose, knowing that you've taken the time to truly understand the other person. Remember, communication isn't a race to see who can talk the most. It's about building understanding. It's about creating connection. And the best way to do that is to listen more than you speak. When it comes to communication, clarity is key. You know, there's a simple truth that many people overlook. If your message isn't clear, it's not going to land. No matter how well-intentioned you are, if you can't express your thoughts in a clear, direct way, you risk confusing the very people you're trying to connect with. And confusion, that's the enemy of good communication. Think about it. How many times have you sat through a conversation or a meeting where the message was unclear or the speaker was all over the place? You left that conversation not sure what the point was or what to do next. It leaves you frustrated and disengaged, and it wastes time that could have been spent doing something productive. On the other hand, when you're clear and concise, people understand exactly what you're trying to say, they get your point, and they know what you need from them. You cut through the noise and get straight to the heart of the matter. Being clear means you've taken the time to think about your message before you speak. It means you're not just saying words for the sake of filling silence, you're delivering something that adds value. Now, I want you to think about being concise. That doesn't mean being brief for the sake of being brief. It's about not overcomplicating things. People have a limited attention span. If you drag on, your message gets lost in the shuffle. The most effective communicators don't waste words. They get to the point and make it stick. They know that brevity is a powerful tool in delivering a message that's impactful. Look, there's an art to this, and the more you practice it, the better you'll get. You don't need to use 20 words when 5 will do. And you don't need to tell a long story when a simple, well-chosen example will do the job. The clearer you are, the more people will respect your time and attention. They'll appreciate that you're speaking to them in a way that's easy to digest, and that will make them more likely to act on your message. So, as you move through life, whether it's in a business setting, a personal conversation, or even a simple exchange, remember this: be clear, be concise. Don't muddy your message with unnecessary details or distractions. Say what you need to say, and then step back, giving others the space to understand, respond, and act. In the end, when you communicate with clarity and precision, you stand out, you make an impression that lasts, and you build the kind of trust and respect that makes people want to hear more from you. Now, let's talk about something that's just as important as the words you speak: your body language. You see, words alone don't tell the whole story. In fact, the majority of what you communicate comes from your posture, your gestures, and even the way you move. How you carry yourself speaks volumes about who you are, how confident you are, and how much you believe in what you're saying. Think about the last time you were in a conversation with someone. Were they standing tall, making eye contact, leaning in a little when they spoke? Or were they hunched over, avoiding eye contact, and looking disinterested? Which one made a stronger impression on you? I bet it was the person who was engaged, confident, and open in their body language. When you communicate, you're not just using words. Your body is saying something too. In fact, research shows that a large percentage of communication comes from nonverbal cues. Things like your facial expressions, the way you gesture with your hands, the tone of your voice, and even your posture. If your body language is off, it sends the wrong signal, and people will pick up on that. You could be saying all the right things, but if your body says something different, you're going to confuse people and weaken your message. So, what can you do to make sure your body language is helping, not hurting your communication? First, stand tall. When you stand with confidence, you project strength and reliability. It's the simplest thing, but it makes a huge difference. If you're slouching, you give off an impression of insecurity or uncertainty, even if your words are strong. A straight back and shoulders back tells the world you're ready for anything. Next, think about your eye contact. Eye contact shows you're engaged. It says, I'm here with you, I'm present, and I care about this conversation. Too little eye contact can make you seem disinterested, but too much can feel intense or even confrontational. Find the balance. Look someone in the eye, but remember to break it occasionally, just long enough to show respect and focus without making it uncomfortable. Now, consider your gestures. We all use our hands when we speak, but are you using them to emphasize your points, or are your hands just hanging by your sides like they don't belong? Gesturing in a natural, open way can help reinforce your message and make you appear more approachable. It shows enthusiasm and passion for what you're saying. But beware of crossing your arms or holding your hands tightly. It can make you seem closed off or defensive. And don't forget your face. A simple smile can go a long way in building rapport and trust. People are drawn to those who smile, and a genuine smile makes you appear warmer and more likable. On the other hand, if your face is tense or you look disinterested, no matter how great your message is, people will tune out. Finally, be aware of your energy. How you move, how you enter a room, how you speak, this all conveys a certain energy. Are you projecting energy that lifts people up, or are you drained and lacking enthusiasm? Your energy impacts how people perceive you, and it sets the tone for the entire conversation. If you bring positive energy into the room, people are more likely to be drawn to you, listen to you, and be receptive to what you have to say. In the end, your body is your most powerful communication tool. Words are important, but your body language has the power to amplify your message, to make it stronger, clearer, and more engaging. When you speak with your body and your words in harmony, you create an undeniable presence, and that's what leaves a lasting impact. If you want to become an effective communicator, one of the most powerful tools you can develop is the ability to ask the right questions. You see, communication isn't just about talking, it's about engaging, learning, and creating a meaningful exchange. And asking the right questions opens the door to all of that. It shows that you're not just talking to fill the silence, you're actively seeking to understand, to connect, and to dive deeper. Think about the best conversations you've had in your life. Chances are they weren't the ones where someone was talking at you for hours. No, they were the conversations where someone took the time to ask questions that got you thinking, that made you reflect, that made you feel like they genuinely cared about your thoughts and your experiences. Those are the kinds of conversations that leave an impression. Now, the key is to ask questions that aren't just surface level. Anyone can ask, "How's the weather?" or "What do you do for work?" But those kinds of questions don't get you very far. They don't tap into the real essence of who someone is or what they truly want. To ask the right questions, you've got to dig deeper. You've got to ask questions that lead to insights, that spark thought, and that create a genuine dialogue. For example, instead of asking, "How's work going?" ask, "What's the most fulfilling part of your work right now?" Or instead of, "How was your weekend?" try, "What's one thing you did this weekend that made you feel alive?" Those kinds of questions encourage people to think, to open up, and to share what really matters to them. It's not just about collecting information, it's about creating a space for a deeper connection to happen. Now, let me tell you something about the art of asking questions. It's not just about asking the right questions, it's also about asking them at the right time. Timing is everything in communication. Asking a question at the wrong moment can derail a conversation or create tension. But asking the right question at the right time, when the other person is ready to share, can change the entire course of a conversation. It's about reading the situation, understanding the flow, and knowing when to dig deeper, when to step back, and when to listen. And don't forget that asking questions is a two-way street. When you ask the right questions, you're not only learning about the other person, you're teaching them something about yourself, too. You're showing them that you care enough to listen, that you value their opinion, and that you're truly interested in understanding their perspective. And when you listen closely to their responses, you gain insights that can guide the direction of your relationship, your business dealings, or your personal growth. Here's the thing. Great communicators don't just talk. They engage. They ask questions that open up new avenues of conversation. They listen with intention, and they respond thoughtfully. The right question can turn a simple exchange into a powerful connection. It can open up doors to opportunities, to understanding, and to relationships that you might never have imagined. So, the next time you're in a conversation, remember the power of a great question. Don't just ask for the sake of asking. Ask with curiosity, ask with intent, and ask with the goal of truly understanding. Because the questions you ask today will shape the conversations you have tomorrow. And those conversations will shape your life. One of the most powerful ways to improve your communication is to be fully present in the moment. So often, we're distracted by the world around us. The constant buzz of our phones, the thousand things running through our minds, the to-do lists that never seem to end. We think we can juggle it all, but here's the truth. When you're distracted, you're not truly communicating. And when you're not truly communicating, you're missing out on the full potential of every interaction. Being present means giving your full attention to the person you're speaking with. It means not worrying about what you're going to say next, not checking your phone every few seconds, not thinking about what you need to do after the conversation. It means being right there in that moment with that person, fully engaged and focused on what they have to say. And let me tell you, people can tell when you're not really there. When it doesn't matter how much you talk or how much you know, if you're not present, you'll lose their trust and their attention. Think about the times when you've been speaking to someone and you could tell they weren't really listening to you. Maybe their eyes were wandering, or they seemed distracted, or they just weren't responding in a way that felt connected. How did that make you feel? Not great, right? But when someone is truly present with you, when they're hanging on every word, when their eyes are focused on you, when their body language shows they're listening, there's a certain energy that builds. You feel understood, you feel valued, and that's the kind of connection that makes communication powerful. Being present doesn't just benefit the person you're speaking to either. It benefits you. When you're truly engaged in the moment, you learn more. You hear things you might have missed if your mind was somewhere else. You pick up on the subtle cues, the tone of someone's voice, the way their body shifts, the little things they might not even realize they're communicating. And when you pay attention to those things, you become a better listener, a better communicator, and ultimately a better person to be around. The simple truth is this: we live in a world filled with distractions, and being truly present is becoming a rare and valuable skill. But if you want to deepen your connections, whether it's in your personal relationships or in business, being present is essential. You don't have to say a word for a conversation to be meaningful. Just listen, engage, and show that you're there fully with them in that moment. That's when real communication happens. And let's not forget the power of nonverbal presence. When you're truly present, your body language changes. You sit up straighter, you make eye contact, you lean in just slightly to show that you're interested. All of this sends the message that you're not just physically there, you're mentally and emotionally engaged as well. It's the kind of presence that speaks louder than words ever could. So, if you want to become a better communicator, start with being present. Put away the distractions. Focus on the conversation at hand. Listen actively, respond thoughtfully, and give the gift of your full attention. Because when you do, you'll find that your relationships, your work, and your life as a whole will improve in ways you never expected. One of the most overlooked but incredibly powerful ways to improve your communication is by expanding your vocabulary. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, what's the big deal? I can get by with the words I already know. But here's the truth. Language is a tool, and the more tools you have in your toolkit, the more effective you become. The richer your vocabulary, the more precise, clear, and powerful your communication will be. When you have a broad vocabulary, you're not just saying words. You're choosing words that accurately express your thoughts, that paint a vivid picture in the minds of others, that convey emotion, tone, and meaning in a way that connects. It's not about using big words to impress anyone. It's about using the right words to get your point across, to make your ideas resonate, and to ensure you're fully understood. Think about a time when you were listening to someone speak. Maybe they had a limited vocabulary. Maybe they relied on the same few words over and over. The message might have been good, but the way they said it, it lacked impact. It wasn't as engaging, wasn't as memorable. Now think about a time when you listened to someone with a rich vocabulary, someone who carefully chose their words, who used language that was both clear and powerful. They probably kept you on the edge of your seat, didn't they? That's the power of a well-developed vocabulary. The great thing is, expanding your vocabulary doesn't mean you have to be some kind of walking dictionary. It's about making a conscious effort every day to learn new words, understand their meanings, and practice using them. It's about paying attention to language, the books you read, the conversations you have, the podcasts you listen to, and looking for new words to incorporate into your speech. Little by little, you'll begin to notice how your language transforms. But here's the key. It's not just about knowing more words. It's about using them wisely. It's about finding the right word for the right moment. For example, if you're excited about something, you could say, I'm excited, but that's a little flat. If you say, I'm exhilarated, now you've got energy in your words. You've chosen a more specific word that better expresses exactly how you feel. That's the power of vocabulary. It helps you communicate with precision, with flair, and with authority. And remember, vocabulary isn't just about using fancy words. It's about being clear and effective. Sometimes the simplest words are the best ones. The goal is not to sound sophisticated for the sake of it, but to communicate your ideas as clearly and powerfully as possible. Now, let's be real for a second. Expanding your vocabulary takes effort. It's not going to happen overnight, but think of it as an investment in yourself. Every new word you learn adds to your ability to connect with others, to persuade, to inform, and to inspire. And as your vocabulary grows, so does your confidence in your ability to communicate effectively. In the end, the richer your vocabulary, the more options you have to communicate with depth, impact, and clarity. You'll find that you can say more with fewer words, that your messages hit harder and last longer, and that people begin to listen to you more intently. A well-chosen word can be the difference between a conversation that fades into the background and one that sticks with someone for days. So take the time, invest in your vocabulary, and watch how it transforms your communication. Let's talk about something that's at the heart of all great communication: empathy. If you want to connect with others, to truly understand them, and to communicate in a way that resonates, empathy is your secret weapon. But here's the thing. Empathy isn't just about being nice or sympathetic. It's about putting yourself in someone else's shoes, seeing the world through their eyes, and genuinely trying to understand their feelings, their perspective, and their experience. Think about the times when you've really felt heard, really felt understood. It wasn't just because someone was listening to your words. It was because they were truly listening to you. They felt what you were feeling, they understood where you were coming from, and they responded with kindness, care, and a genuine desire to help. That's what empathy does. But let's be real. Empathy isn't always easy. It's easy to be caught up in our own lives, our own problems, our own perspectives. It's easy to assume that everyone else sees the world the way we do. But when we do that, we miss out on connecting at a deeper level. True empathy requires you to step outside of your own mindset and see things from someone else's point of view, even if it's something you've never experienced before. It means putting aside your judgments, your assumptions, and your opinions, and truly listening to understand. The most effective communicators are the ones who know how to practice empathy in every conversation. They don't just wait for their turn to speak. They listen with intention. They ask questions that show they care. They take the time to absorb not just the words, but the emotions behind the words. And when they respond, they do so with compassion and insight because they've taken the time to truly understand the other person's feelings and perspective. Here's the thing about empathy. When you practice it, you create trust. People are drawn to those who can see things from their point of view. They feel safe with those who make them feel understood. And that trust, it makes communication more effective. It opens doors to deeper conversations, stronger relationships, and greater influence. When you practice empathy, you're not just improving your communication skills, you're improving your connections, your relationships, and your ability to make a real impact in the lives of others. Empathy also opens up a world of learning. When you genuinely listen and understand others, you begin to learn from their experiences. You begin to see things in new ways, expand your own thinking, and become a better, more well-rounded person. And when you can communicate that understanding to others, it changes everything. People begin to see you as someone who values them, someone they can trust, and someone who genuinely wants to make a difference. Someone who genuinely wants to make a difference. Now, I know it's not always easy. It takes practice. It takes patience. Sometimes you're going to hear things that challenge your beliefs or make you uncomfortable. But that's where the real growth happens, when you allow yourself to step into someone else's world, even for a moment. Because at the end of the day, when you practice empathy, you're building stronger, more meaningful connections. You're making sure that the people around you feel seen, heard, and valued. And that's the foundation of great communication, great relationships, and a fulfilling life. So there you have it. 9 powerful tips to improve your communication skills. The world needs more people who can speak with clarity, listen with intent, and connect with others on a deeper level. You don't need to be a natural speaker to be a great communicator. With practice and the right mindset, anyone can become a master of communication. Now go out there and start practicing these tips today, because your future depends on it. Thank you.